Hello and welcome to Sports Opinion, the weekly sports talk show on Channel 18. That's Public Access TV. My name is Dirk Keller. This is Bob Boyd.
Howdy.
That's Bud Sueppel, and here's Earl Murphy.
Earl the Pearl.
That's right. Alive and kicking. We all are. It's been a while since we've been together.
That's
right.
It's been about 3 weeks.
Yes.
And so far this summer, we've had guests every show, and today it's just us. Just us. And that's just fine, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time
Yeah.
since it's been just us.
It really has.
Yeah.
I was asking you, has anybody seen or talked to the new offensive coordinator? And they said, no, I haven't met him yet.
No, I haven't talked to anyone who's met him.
Yeah.
So he's probably keeping busy, talking to recruits and the new kids coming in. A lot of these high school seniors are already on campus. In fact, most of them are.
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they're here already?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They've been here.
Okay.
Good.
They've been here. So they've started their workout regimen, working with Chris Doyle, and I'm sure with all the different position coaches, and getting to know their teammates and getting to know the environment here in Iowa City on campus. It's that time.
Well, and they had their, what do they call that when they have the gals come in and the 9 position coaches work with the football players?
The Iowa Ladies Football
That's
Academy.
right. That just happened, right?
Yes, last week they raised over $330,000 for the Iowa Children's Hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
I heard that's a good deal.
Yep. I've actually talked to a couple of ladies who were there, and they had a great time.
That's right. Yeah.
And thank Mary Ferentz for a lot of that.
That's for sure.
Oh,
She works hard on that.
it's her project.
Yeah.
You were here. We had her last year on the show.
Yeah, right before they had it.
Yeah. She was brave enough to come on with us guys and
Yeah.
You know, I
talk
like
about it.
people to know how much these Ferentzes do give back to the University Hospital.
Yeah. And not just the hospital, but the entire community.
Well, that's the good thing about
Money.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you a real basic
Yeah.
example. I coach boys baseball
Yeah.
out at City Park, and these are 11 and 12-year-old boys, and we struggle to get umpires every year. It's a real struggle to get them and to keep them. A lot of times they start and then they quit halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Something better comes up. And the umpire that we've had for 90% of our games this year has been Steve Ferentz,
Yeah.
Oh,
who will be a
good.
walk-on freshman
Yeah.
at Iowa. Now, just think about that for a minute. How many millionaires' sons or daughters are doing that kind of work?
That's right.
Yeah.
None. I would say none.
He was umpiring when Jake was playing, though.
Yeah.
He's been out there a long time.
I think the brothers, didn't they?
Yeah, I think all the brothers did.
All the brothers did it, probably. Yeah. Well,
Right.
it's you know what though? It's a good summer job.
Oh, yes.
You know, they can sleep in,
How
they
much
can
they-
work out, and then they can show up the Little League Diamond about what, 4 o'clock, Dirk?
Oh, they don't have to get there until 5:15.
5, yeah, you know, and have some fun with the kids and make a little money.
How much do they get per game, do you know?
I don't know.
I think $15.
Yeah, it's not much.
No, I know.
And he does 2 games a night. I don't know how many nights he works, but we're out there Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and he's there virtually every one of our games.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be $150 a week.
Yeah, it ain't much. And I'll say this: it's a thankless job, and I'll tell you what too, it's a dangerous job.
Yeah.
These guys are showing up, these umpires, without any chest protectors, no shin pads, no shin guards. They've got a face mask, I think. I don't even know if he wears a face mask.
Well, see, they're not behind the plate.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
they are, and they're facing live pitching.
Yeah.
Steve got clipped.
Oh, well, this is the older kids then.
Steve got
Because
clipped
the other
Tuesday night.
ones,
Yeah.
The umpire don't get behind the plate, does he?
These do.
Well, for junior
Yeah,
league
junior
and
league
senior
does.
league, they
Do
would.
they?
Yeah.
You bet they
Okay.
do.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they don't wear more protection.
Well, you don't have to worry much about the pitch. It's a foul ball.
tips. And
Yeah,
Steve got
yeah.
caught last night, and I know it hurt. And we all, in fact, the other bench at the same time said the same thing we did. Blue, you all right? And he just looked at me and went, no problem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Well, you think about that job, though, because, you know, there's an article in the paper just recently where, remember how when we were growing up, a whole lot of kids had summer jobs, high school kids.
We all did.
Now it's less than 3 in 10 because they can't find jobs.
Yeah. And
So-
I think a lot of parents spoil their kids. and don't
that's
make
the
them
other
work.
part
I
of
think
it,
that's
yeah.
the biggest thing, because there's
That's true,
job
too.
signs
too.
all over. Job signs all over.
Yeah.
We had paper outs, and then we had, lawn mowing and trimming.
Construction.
Well, I worked for the Big Ten peeling potatoes.
The Big Ten Inn.
Yeah, the Big Ten Inn.
The old
They
Big
were
Ten
referred
Inn.
to The old Big Panthers.
On Riverside Drive, right?
Sat on a pickle bucket and peeled potatoes.
Yeah.
And then you
You talk about a thankless job.
Well.
How much
I
you
was
get paid
glad
for
to
that?
get. I think I made $7.50. I was only there from like 8 in the morning till 11.
Peeling
But that was
taters.
big money.
Yeah.
That was
And
pretty
I
good,
I
yeah.
had to take half of it home to Dad. And then
Did you?
I got the other half.
Yeah.
Well, I gave it to Mom, and she saved it. So
Well, I just think it's, back to the original discussion, I think it's really noble. I don't know if that's the right word, but to see their kids out there working in the community and not doing just freebie jobs,
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And see, another thing you have there is that we don't realize, but you got young lifeguards at all the swimming pools too. They're high school kids.
And they better be well-trained, too.
High school or
You have to go
college,
through a course
yeah.
and all that stuff. They are.
Sure.
You don't get the job, but I was going by that one out in North Liberty, and they were all young kids but they were business-like people.
I worked at the pool growing up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they used to have to. I'm sure it's even more stringent now, the life-saving
Oh, you have
class
to.
that you go through. And
You have to, yeah.
what do they call that? It's a red-
Life-saving,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what they
Yeah.
still call
I
it.
think the Red Cross is
Red Cross sponsors
is
it.
in charge of it.
Yeah.
You got a lot of responsibilities sitting up in that chair, and you better pay attention. You'd better
Yeah.
be alert, no goofing around. My dad ran the pool back home, and lifeguards weren't allowed to talk to anybody, and they were strict. It was like being in school.
Needs to be.
Oh, yeah.
Well, knock on doors. They must do one good a job, because we haven't heard of anyone.
Knock on wood.
But there was a public pool where a 6-year-old child died somewhere in Iowa last week.
Saw that somewhere out
So
west.
some lifeguards weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important.
Yeah. So, we're pretty fortunate to have the Ferentz parents
Fear and spirits. I
here
like
in
that.
town.
How big is he?
I'd say he's about my height, so 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah.
And I'm going to guess right now he's probably 235.
My God,
He's not huge, but he's built well. He's in real
Yeah.
good shape. And again, I just admire the heck out of him for showing up every night. It's just, I can't say enough about that, because let's face it, kids his age, college age, they're not real dependable sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Not when it comes to hard work and having to show up. And somebody, we know who, taught these kids, the right lessons. And again, like Bud said, we're fortunate to have them in our community. And again,
True.
let's face it, this is a small town.
Sure is.
Getting bigger, though.
It's getting bigger.
What about the tailback that got in trouble?
Greg Garman,
Yeah,
from Erie,
what's going on?
Pennsylvania. He was our star running back recruit coming in. I would assume he still is, but he got arrested a week ago for marijuana possession with one of his high school teammates. And they were driving around in a car that had expired registration,
Yes.
which got him pulled over, and the cops smelled the weed burning or whatever. And
You seen
Marijuana.
I
well,
think it was all found in the ashtray.
it was just a little bit.
I know.
It was just a little tiny
So
bit.
it's just a misdemeanor.
Right.
So the most I think what I think's going to happen, he'll probably get a day or two, first 2 games or something.
Suspension.
I mean, it's not like the other ones. It's not like the kid from over at Sioux City that ran from the police and.
That's right. That's a different story there
Yeah.
when you're
Well,
running.
whatever happened with that particular recruit, where that happened, last summer, right?
Yeah,
the kid-
he lost his
He
scarlet.
walked on. He walked on at Iowa.
with a chance to regain his
Yes.
That's right.
scholarship.
That's
Yes.
right.
So he walked on last year and redshirted?
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now.
I
Yeah,
am too. But he's got, I think all he has to do, Bob, is serve that 1 year suspension.
and stay
Then he'll
clean.
get his and
Yeah.
stay clean, right?
Yeah.
That would help.
Then he'll get the scholarship.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Okay, so he could be a tailback possibility as well as this Garmin we were just talking about. But we have our problems with tailbacks, don't we? I mean,
That is an understatement.
Jeez.
Well, and I'm going to bring up the acronym AIRBAG.
Yeah.
Angry Iowa Running Back Hating God.
Okay, that's
He
a new
just
one.
keeps striking them down one way or another.
Yeah.
You know, they either get hurt, transfer out, or get arrested. And we're thin. We are thin at running back. And
Well, I think come season time, we're gonna be in good shape.
Well, we were never thinner than we were in about 2004 when, who was our sophomore quarterback that had no running back?
Drew Tate.
Drew Tate, and we went 10-2.
Yep.
It goes.
So go figure. You know, how do you figure that one, huh?
We had a very stout defense,
We sure did.
and that was a big part of it. And,
And, the 2002 team with Banks, that was tremendous.
yep,
Yeah,
We had 7 or 8 guys that made all Big Ten. You know,
out of nowhere, virtually.
That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
And they lost to Iowa State at the beginning of the year.
And
So-
shouldn't have. That was what we had 24-7 at halftime or something.
Something like that, yeah. It was a pretty decent lead, and they had control of the game.
Who's the quarterback that had such a tremendous game for Iowa State? That,
Was it Sage Rosenfels?
No, it was the
Yeah, it was the other one.
black quarterback that's he's still in the pros.
Yes.
He's a backup.
I'm
Oh,
sure-
gee, why can't we think of that? He had a heck of a game second half.
He sure did.
we're trying to think of somebody's name. The last time show we had was it Duncan, the announcer at Drake.
That rings a bell.
Duncan?
Yeah,
Sounds right.
That does
Yeah.
sound right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Good memory.
I
I think that's right.
Randy?
No,
No.
no.
Okay.
He was a longtime PA announcer at Drake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
If Joe Murphy was any kind of son, he'd look that up for us right now on the internet. Well, guys, we talked a little bit about football.
If it's not Iowa, I don't look it up.
Well, it is Iowa, it's state of.
Okay.
It's baseball season. It's softball season for the high school kids.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, coming from Illinois, where baseball and softball is already wrapped up and done.
Seriously?
Oh yeah, we were done by graduation time every year, just like Iowa is here, University of Iowa.
Wow.
And you're just getting
Yeah,
warmed up when baseball's over.
yeah, Iowa's one of the few that have summer baseball.
Well, it's just wonderful that way, and it's the way it ought to be. It's a summer sport, just like softball. Keeps these kids busy. Keeps them real busy if you're on a high school team or a traveling team.
Well, speaking of high school, now Bud won't say this, but I will. His grandson, Jake Lehman, last night plays for Regina. They were behind 4-0
To West High.
to West High.
Number 5 ranked West High.
And Jake gets up and hits a grand slam, the first pitch he hit over the fence to tie the game, and eventually Regina beat number 5 West 8-6. So
that was a heck of a game.
Yeah, it was one of the best.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I wanted to go, but
One of the best games I've seen out there. And what I was telling Murph, what I really liked about it, that hill was filled with people.
oh, good.
They bring their blankets and they sit
Oh,
down,
good.
and it's just like a bowl.
It's a beautiful setting back there
Yeah.
behind the football field at Regina.
Yeah.
And I would love to have seen that last night. I have a friend, Bill Wilson, who played baseball for the Hawkeyes, and his son is on the West High team. And he asked us to come out, and I was too tired after coaching baseball last night. It was just a long day. And so I listened to it on KCJJ.
Well, didn't you say that was the best turnout you've seen at a Regina game? I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
West and
ever.
Regina
For
both
baseball.
had a crowd there.
Yeah.
And
See, City High was down this year, They're not now, but they were when they come in there. So they didn't bring it. But West High really bought
Good.
Big crowd,
good.
you know, more than West Liberty does or West Branch. They
Yeah.
brought a big crowd. And speaking of that Chris Doyle's son plays on that.
Declan.
Yeah, and he does a good job for
See,
sophomore.
third baseman, isn't he?
No, second base.
Second base?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he does really, I think it is. Now, I was watching him bat most of the time, but when he got up to bat, it was hard to keep him off the bases.
See a big boy?
No,
No?
well, I don't think any bigger than, I'd say smaller than an average kid out there.
Well, that was a signature game for Regina, and a huge upset. And, you know, in 2A, which is Regina's class, they're 6th ranked. And their record now, Regina they're only 10-6, but they played a lot of 3 and 4A teams.
Yeah,
And,
I think overall they're 15-4.
no. Regina?
Yeah, they just got done with that Catholic tournament in Des Moines. They matter of fact, I was telling her they played about 9 games in the last 5 games, or 5 days.
Yeah.
Well, now, of course, the Press Citizen has Regina's record at 6 and 10,
10
Well,
and 6.
which I know is not right.
Yeah,
Oh.
They were 6 and 4 into last week.
right. And then they added. Now, let's start adding the one. They got beat by Mason City Holy Family, and they beat Healing and Sioux City and Assumption, and West Liberty, and then West High last night.
That's
Yeah, and then they won a doubleheader at North Cedar Thursday, so I didn't think they counted any of those.
that's 8.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think that's how they come up.
Well, now West High, they're ranked 5th, and
5th in Class 4A, which is the
what's
top
their
class.
record, Dirk? Do you have that?
Yeah, they are, West High is 15 and 5 now.
Yeah.
After last
They
night's
have
game.
one more loss than Regina.
They're ranked
Yeah.
number 10. I'm sorry, number 5.
Yeah. No, City High's
City
doing
High-
pretty well.
City High is number 10. Their record's
Okay.
12 and 7 after last night's win.
Well, Brian Mitchell will do a good job with that City High.
He
crew.
sure will. It's his first year, former City Hawk, or former Little Hawk, former Hawkeye
Yep.
baseball player,
But
and an
what you
all-around
really
good
have
guy.
to think about now, and we've talked about this in football, but here we have 3 high schools who are all in the top 10. You
It's
don't
just
find that
amazing.
in the-
It's pretty
the city-
typical of this
Iowa
community.
City, Iowa has, and now you turn around the girls.
Okay,
West High's.
I was wrong. Regina's 15 and 4. Is that what you said?
That's what Buddy said, yeah.
I was looking at the girls' softball,
Okay,
and
Okay.
they're 10 and 6.
okay.
Regina 15 and 4, West High 15 and 5, City High 12 and 7, and they played a tough schedule, and now they're ranked number 10.
Number 10.
That is really something. All 3 area high schools ranked in the top 10.
Right. And what's really good about it, as far as both City High and West High came over to Regina to play.
Yeah.
And you know, most schools, those big schools, wouldn't go play it. So I really have to give both their coaches a lot of credit
Absolutely.
to come over to Regina and play. I mean, there's just no question about it.
Well, and Regina coach Andy Gann said as much in the paper today.
Oh, did he?
Really,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
He said it was a great opportunity to play a 4A team, and we're thankful that they
Yeah.
scheduled
Yeah,
us.
good.
yeah. And you know, it's usually very competitive every year, and Andy
Yeah.
Gann does a wonderful job with it. He's
He
been there
does.
quite a long time now as well.
But another thing you have to remember, Regina has these same kids that start out in first grade and playing together.
Yep.
Now that last play of the game, I don't know if you listened to it, but that Drew
Oh,
double play.
Unreal.
And Streb's in there pitching.
yeah.
And
A
Jake
line
hits it. Now
shot.
those 3 hang around together and they played and play and play.
Runners on second and third,
Right.
1 out, 8-6 game, and a line smash.
Smash.
Was it to the shortstop?
Third
And-
base, wasn't it?
Third base, and he just falls on the bag and doubles
Yeah.
off the runner.
Yeah.
And then Danny Page is one heck of a pitcher. Now last year he didn't lose. Now I think he's got a couple losses this year. But you know, you get them all together, playing together for a long time, this is what happens.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, it
But-
really is.
But what about West High? I mean, look at the year that senior class had.
Let me just tell you what they've done.
I mean, it's
Oh, yeah, I
amazing.
know,
I'm not
yeah.
sure it's ever been done before in any high school in the state. That'd
West
be-
High has won just this year both the boys and girls state basketball championships. They have won, let's see, the soccer boys state championship. The girls did very well, I think.
They made the state.
Made
That beat the
state,
first
but,
one.
yeah. They won boys tennis state
That's right.
championship as well, and girls volleyball.
That's right, that's 5.
Unbelievable.
Now I'm thinking they won the boys track championship.
Oh, we forgot about that.
So that's 6 state championships.
What about football?
No,
No.
they didn't win it.
Now that would be an interesting thing to Google, Dirk.
You're right.
Has any team, any school in the history of the state ever won 6
No.
team
No,
championships?
I'll give you the answer now if the Des Moines Register's right.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This West High got more points than any school's ever got. See, they combine these points and then
Yeah.
they pick out the best school, and they're the number 1 school.
It's just unbelievable.
I know.
Just
And the summer's not over,
No, and
though they could still
well,
win.
the girls are ranked number 2, I think.
let's see, area softball, girls softball. West is 21-1
Yeah.
and ranked number 3.
Okay.
And they have 5 classes in girls softball, only 4 classes in boys baseball. I don't know why that is.
Well, so their softball team and their baseball team would be a state contender,
Oh, big time.
you know, and that's going to be real interesting. if they pull-
21-1 their record is.
Yeah.
Just think of the kids that are participating.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Murph's bringing up a good
Oh.
point here.
Yeah.
There's more kids. You wonder why they have, there's more kids going out for these sports and more schools are getting into. And
Yeah.
by these schools combining, you need these other classes, you know? And that's volleyball the same way. The girls have, I think, 4 classes where the boys only have 3 classes.
It's
But
just
there's
phenomenal.
You can't believe how many high school kids are taking part in sports during the summer, and it's the best thing in the world as far as I'm concerned.
We all agree.
Well, and then we talked about this particular community earlier, and we talked about the rankings, and I mean,
Right.
it's every season, it's every sport. I mean, you talk about West and City High and Regina and what they've accomplished, but look at what Solon's accomplished.
Yeah.
And Clear Creek's
Clear.
getting better, and
Oh,
West
yeah.
Branch always has done well in football especially, and
Well, you have
basketball.
Regina, West High, Clear Creek, Solon, and West Liberty all qualified for state tournament in soccer.
In soccer?
In soccer. Now that soccer is really taking over things. More than you
Regina's
think.
got a heck of a boys soccer program.
Yes.
And we know West does.
Yes.
And Lurie's a good coach.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's a very good
There you
coach.
go.
Yeah.
He
And
knows
the
what he's doing.
Regina girls soccer team was probably the best they've ever had in the school's
Yeah, they
history.
made the state.
First time they made state in the girls' side.
Made state, and they lost to eventual runner-up Sioux City Heelan.
But getting back to what Bob said, even in cross-country track,
Yeah.
you have all 3 of them up
Yeah, all
there.
3 of them.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, on my way down here, and I'm sure it was probably City High, here's probably 150 kids running down the street,
Really?
and they must be at a track camp or something like that because he had them out there running, whoever it was.
Tim Dwight is that.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, is that this week, Murph, the Tim
I
Dwight
think
camp?
so.
Okay.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
might be it.
might be,
Was it all
yeah.
boys
Yes.
running? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably what it was.
Well, now, in softball, it's not just the Iowa City schools.
Oh,
Clear Creek, 15-0, ranked number 1 in Class 4A. That's 1 class down
Yeah.
from West and City.
What-
And then Solon.
What's that ranking in?
What do you mean?
What is it? Softball or?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is for softball.
Yeah.
Girls softball. Again, West High is ranked number 3 in Class 5A at 21-1. Clear Creek is 15-0 and ranked number 1 in Class 4A. Solon is undefeated at 15-0 and ranked number 1 in Class 3A. Mid Prairie, they're ranked number 2 in 3A, and they're 9-4. So they clearly played a lot of bigger schools. And then Regina girls softball, defending state champs. They're at 10-6 ranked number 3 in Class 2A. And then City High's 11-9 with their softball program.
Well, an interesting thing about Clear Creek as well is this is their first year in 4A, and they're ranked number 1.
Isn't that something?
And they've won state championships in 3A, 2A, and I'm not sure 1A, probably years ago.
I bet.
So that's also never been done. So it'll be interesting to see if they pull that off in 4A,
Good point.
which they probably will. I mean, there's
They've got a heck of a
Our
program.
sports in Iowa City are fan. All those coaches out there in Hasselbeck, they have to be proud of being from Iowa City.
yeah.
And remember when Tiffin was just a sleepy little town with the Lark restaurant and that was it?
Man.
Well, I played basketball.
Yes.
Huh? Everybody beat
Heck, I
Tiffin.
drove it.
Everybody beat Clear Creek.
Yeah.
No
But
matter
Clear
what it
Creek's
was.
always been excellent in girls softball. Always.
They've
Another
got-
high school is on split.
There you go. That's
You
what
think?
I'm afraid of too.
Clear Creek?
No, west.
Oh, West High.
Well, if
Yeah.
they build a new high school out in North
North
Liberty,
Liberty.
Murph, you're right. And what? And
See, right
what's the
now,
projection? 5 years,
right now
potentially.
you've got a junior high that belongs to
It's
Clear
coming.
Creek that's setting in North Liberty,
Yeah.
and that's pulling things apart.
Yep. It'll change everything. Well, there's a lot going on. For just a minute, I want to talk about Zoe Dutchick for Regina, soccer star. I forget where she's going to college to play soccer, but she was just a dominant force this year in soccer and basketball. I know you got a chance to see her play a little bit, Bud, and so did I, and I just loved watching her play basketball. She was so focused. There was nothing flashy about her.
What's her measurements?
I don't.
Tall?
Sure, she's not real tall. I'd say
Well, fairly tall.
6 foot
Yeah.
tops
I thought
For a
that's
woman,
tall.
for a girl, I guess.
Yeah. She is that tall?
I don't know if she's that tall or
Yeah.
not.
I think she's going to St. Thomas up in St.
That-
Paul.
yeah, that sounds
I think
right.
that's if I remember right.
Yeah, that sounds
But
right.
she's got some really nice parents too.
Yes, she
Yeah.
does, and she's got a younger sister and a younger brother. I think younger brother's in my boys' class.
Okay.
I think. And again, just loved watching her play. Very, I guess, focused. I just keep coming back to the word focused. She knew what her abilities were, and she didn't try to go above her abilities. And she could make free throws like nobody's business.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many hat tricks she had this year in soccer, but
Oh no, she was.
she was just dominant. So congratulations to Zoe Dutchick, and I'm going to miss watching her play. She's really something
Her
special.
sister will be there.
Yep. Her sister's not as tall as she is.
No.
Gabby.
Right.
Yeah.
She's going, what year was she like, just finished her, what, freshman year?
No, I think Gabby's either a junior or sophomore. I think.
Going into?
No, I thought she was a
No, I
Yeah.
think she's going into junior.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking. So.
I got another granddaughter that plays. She's going to be a senior. She's very tall.
Is there ever going to be a
She's
time at Regina when you don't have a grandchild at Regina playing
Not for a
sports?
long time. That's got 4 little ones. That's
Well, you know, I'll tell you what, it's scary to think how many Sueppels or relative of Sueppels or Brants have gone through that school.
Oh, Sueppels,
Yeah.
Brants, Lehmans.
Lehman's, yeah, there's the other big,
You got a
big,
lot-
big families.
And there's a lot of Lehmans going to City High. What's up with that?
Which Lehman's?
I don't know.
I don't think it's the same family.
Oh, it's not?
No, but they do
Tim,
have getting to the
Tim and
Lehmans.
Debbie Lehman's
Yeah.
kids went to City High.
Yeah, but this back, I don't think they have any
Yeah.
young one. But there's 2 Lehmans that belong to Chris and Joe. These are girls that are fantastic.
Yeah?
Just
Yeah.
fantastic.
Oh, the ones that were on the basketball team.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
They
and
are
one
good.
was good in soccer too. But one works for John Balmer, and another one works for the power company checks line. But I mean, these girls are really athletes. Well, You know, what do you get when you live around that? I mean, instead of going to town, you pick up a ball, or you pick corn, or you stay on the farm.
Yeah,
you know?
That's right. Work ethic.
Make your own entertainment out on the farm.
That's right.
The farmers
Yeah.
really work hard in picking that corn.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I had to get that in there.
Yeah. You get on the tractor and push a button and
Stereo,
Don't get
satellite radio,
turn on the air conditioning. It's a little
Yeah,
different than
pretty tough.
GPS,
Yeah.
all the
Well,
laser
that's how I
tracking.
turn on the TV and watch the Hawkeye game on a Saturday afternoon
Yeah.
while they're picking corn.
Yeah, could be worse.
Pretty hard.
Well, we've got some new entertainment coming up here shortly. Tonight is the night that the men's primetime basketball league picks their 4 teams. So
Yep.
the draft is tonight, and it's going to be
Now, what do you
interesting.
mean, just 4 teams?
That's all they have this year because
You
Northern
sized it
Iowa
down.
pulled out.
Yeah.
Oh, they did.
They did. Their coach told them, Ben Jacobson said, I don't want them coming down here.
Is that something that's being phased out all over the nation?
No.
It's predicated by a new NCAA rule
Okay.
that allows them some coach-player contact in the summer, so many hours per week, right, Dirk? Do you know what the-
Yeah, and I know Ben Jacobson said that he's got his kids practicing 4 days a week in the summer, and he doesn't want to add to it with all that driving back and forth 2 more days
Well, I
a
don't
week.
blame him.
So a rule change, the NCAA is really responsible for it as opposed to them really objecting. If the law had not changed, those kids would be down here this year,
Yep.
don't you think?
I guess. I
Okay,
guess.
well, I read, and I think it's LSU
Mm-hmm.
dropped it.
Oh, did they?
One of those southern teams down there dropped the prime time. And it sounds like this, maybe the same reason.
Well, that's the bad news. The good news is the 4 teams that are going to be out there will have 2 current Hawkeyes
Yeah.
and at least 1 former Hawkeye. So they're going to be, I think, much more competitive. They're going to rely less on
High school.
the high school and smaller college guys. Like, and again, UNI. I was never too excited to see the UNI players.
You said only 2 current Hawkeyes?
2 current Hawkeyes on each team.
Oh, on each team, okay.
Each team.
Yeah.
And then at least 1 former Hawkeye on each.
I got you, all right.
So, for example,
So there'll be 3 on each team.
Yeah,
yeah,
That's
minimum.
Right, that's good.
okay.
Matt Gatens will not be playing. He's still trying out for an NBA team,
Okay.
and that draft is coming up later this summer.
Now, you said it later, when?
I'm not
This
sure.
summer.
I think
Will it be after
think it's late June, but I could be wrong.
probably after the playoffs.
Oh, definitely after the
Okay.
playoffs. They have to wait and see who finishes where to determine the draft positions. But so Matt's still out there, and he won't be playing. Jared Cole will be back and living here this summer. He just got engaged to former Hawkeye women's basketball player Tricia Nesbitt.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they got engaged, and so he's here and still playing basketball over in Europe. So he'll be on one of the teams, and it'll be interesting to see. It's going to weed out some of the lesser talent, and we're going to have a lot of Hawkeyes playing, a lot of future Hawkeyes like Adam Woodbury, the 7-footer, 7-foot-1-inch tall kid.
What about the kid from Wisconsin?
Giselle.
Can he play?
No.
Yes, Utah.
Yeah,
I mean,
think he can.
Yes,
No, I bet.
No.
he can't play for the Hawkeyes,
No.
but he'll be playing.
prime time.
For
Prime
primetime
time. That's what
league.
I thought I read it somewhere.
Yeah.
that he-
You'll have every single. Well, I take it back. The one kid, the incoming freshman basketball player from Indianapolis, is it Ingram?
I believe it is Ingram.
He's not going to be here because he's playing on some Indiana All-Star team.
Okay.
Okay.
He'll
That's all right.
be here, but not to play primetime league. He won't
Yeah.
be here in time to play that.
Basketball is 12-month proposition.
Oh, it sure is now.
Oh, man, you're right.
They will play on the primetime league will play on Tuesdays, and I believe Thursdays.
Sunday,
Tuesday and Sunday.
I think so.
Sunday, Tuesday, then.
I think the first game is
This Tuesday.
And then they play Sundays, and the last game is on a Tuesday.
Okay. I think you're right.
And how many games?
Not that many, are there?
Not a ton. I think they only go till late July. and it's over. And they play up at North Liberty at the rec center, which is a really nice air-conditioned area. But
Yeah.
man, it's always crowded. You know, there's not a ton of seating. You do a lot of standing, but it's air-conditioned, unlike the old days.
Don't you think it'll really be crowded this year with the
Oh,
curiosity about the new players?
I do too.
Better
I
believe
think
it.
will be.
Yeah.
And guys, this all started, believe it or not, it's been 25 years since Randy Larson started the Primetime League back in '87.
Wow.
That's something. That's really
But
something.
I've
Now, let
never
me-
heard the fans so excited about the new coach.
They are really excited about this basketball team coming
Right.
up.
I'm excited.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let me ask you about Utah. Now we know he's going to enroll at the University of Iowa, and we're assuming he's going to be offered a scholarship because
After
yes,
a year.
yes.
After a year.
Now, can he, once he's enrolled this summer at the University of Iowa, can at that point the coaches have contact with him?
That's a real good question.
And can he walk on and practice with the team as a walk-on this year?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay, well, then
Absolutely.
they can have contact.
Yeah.
I just don't know if they can have contact
think
with him before
once-
basketball practice starts. That's
I
my
see.
gray area.
Okay.
I don't know if they can
I
do it.
think
You're
once,
probably right.
Once he registers and takes the class, they can.
Okay.
And he'll be registered, I'm assuming, for summer classes.
I think that's the game plan, to get him registered as...
I wonder what happened to him at Wisconsin between the coaches.
Well, I think
Yeah.
when he
The
made that
players.
commitment 2 years ago, Fran McCaffrey was still an unknown entity, and Bo at Wisconsin Bo Ryan was a known entity. They were
Yeah.
top 10, top 20 perennial school.
I agree with you.
And he looked at that and said, "That's exciting. You go to campus on your visits, and Madison's a fun town, and a lot of life in
Definitely,
Madison.
yeah.
And you see all the Big Ten trophies, and you know you're going to be on TV a lot. It's pretty glamorous." And then he gets up there, and it's that slowdown ball.
And then
And
we changed coaches.
and at the same time,
I think if we would have changed coaches.
And we beat them
before that-
twice.
and
There
we
you
beat him
go.
twice.
There you go. We beat him twice, and he knows he's up in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And let's face it, playing that kind of ball that Wisconsin plays is boring.
The one statement he did make was when he was running the scout team, against, when they were going to play Iowa, Wisconsin was going to play Iowa, and he was responsible for running the scout team and running Iowa's offense. It somehow kind of sunk into him the difference that this would be maybe a lot more fun to play within this system. As opposed to Bo Ryan's slow down, methodical kind of, even though they've
50
had
to
great
40.
success, you can't argue with their success, but most kids want to run and gun.
They do.
Yeah, like that first half against Oregon.
Ooh.
At half, I don't know how many points we had.
Yeah.
But that was the most beautiful basketball I've ever seen.
Not a lot of defense,
No, just
but they got it up and down the court.
Yeah.
Like galloping horses.
yeah.
Yeah, it was exciting.
I don't think fans have been this excited about Iowa basketball in 10 years.
I think longer than that.
Probably right.
No,
No, I-
99, I think when Alfred
Alfred.
first came, we were
Yeah.
really pumped.
Yeah.
And he had a couple good teams there, Luke Rucker and that group.
It took a while.
And you had, Bruner and
And Davis before,
Yeah, we had some
Yeah.
great years with Tom Davis, and there was a lot of
Yes.
excitement, but there were a lot of ups and downs, a lot of peaks and valleys.
But even Alfred won the Big Ten tournament.
yeah,
twice.
twice.
Yeah, but I mean, right off the
Yeah.
go. So you had to. I mean, we gave him a longer chance because he did do so
Yeah.
well.
Well, he lost one Big Ten tournament title as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was there 3 out of his, what
That's
was he
right.
here, 9 years, 7 years?
So as much as
Alfred
I'm
was
glad he's
here,
gone, he did do a good
8
job. wasn't he?
seasons.
8. Came in 99, same time as Coach Ferentz.
And then we had Coach Licklider for 3, and now we've had Fran McCaffrey for 2, and we had Tom Davis for 13 seasons.
Yeah.
And 9 of those 13 seasons, we were in the postseason. That
That wasn't
And
good
that's when
enough
it
back
was-
then.
the field was smaller then, so it was tougher to get in then. Because Tom's last year was what?
90, 99. And that's when he went to the Sweet 16 with Jess Settles
Yeah.
and all those
Lame duck
guys.
coach, as they said, because
Lame
he didn't
duck.
have a contract, and we knew that was his last year because old Bowlesby had not renewed it. So,
Well, the administration on the other side of the river wouldn't let Bowlesby buy him out or pay him for the last year of his contract and cut him loose and hire somebody new. That's what it boiled down to. And that was a shame. That was a shame. But you know what? It seems like ancient history.
Yeah.
it does. Yeah.
And now, like Bud said, we're rejuvenated. We're excited.
Yes.
Can't wait to see what's next. We've got how many new recruits coming in? Is it 4 or 5? Well,
5.
now with Utah, it's 5.
5. No. It's 5 coming in this year.
So we got Woodbury and Giselle.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the kid from Indiana. Ingram. We got the kid from Michigan.
Sioux City.
And you have a Myers kid from down south.
And Myers, that's right.
Georgia.
And he's
6'10".
He's the dark horse.
He's the unknown
6'10",
quantity here.
gets up and down the floor, fluid. He's remarkable. I've seen his highlight videos.
Have you?
Oh, yeah, and he is remarkable. What's his first name? Myers is
I don't remember.
Kyle, maybe? I don't know.
Monk Myers.
So then you have these 5, which are all new players coming in this fall, and then Utah's coming in, but
He'll be a heck of a practice player.
I'm glad.
So yeah, we have 6 new guys
I'm
basically.
glad for this coach.
Well, who's going to be the first pick in the draft? You got a lot of guys to choose from. You got Devin Marble. You got Melson Basabe. You got the kid from Ohio, the freshman. Help me out, Bob. I'm drawing a blank.
You mean for prime time?
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Here,
call you?
I don't know.
Jason. Here, I got it here somewhere.
If I were a coach, I'd probably go with one of the experienced guys like Marble or Aaron White.
Aaron White's who I was trying to come up with. He'd
If
be
I
a
were
heck of a...
picking,
Yeah?
Marble. I'm with the Marble.
Are you?
I think he played.
What about Aaron White?
well, he's
Well,
good,
I
but
like him too.
I think he would thrive in a primetime atmosphere.
I think you're going to see great things from Marble the next 2 seasons.
I do too.
And
I do too.
I
Aaron
really
White
do.
the next 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've really got some talent
Yeah, we just
there,
got
and we've
some
got
good
some talent
talent.
coming in.
I'd probably take Woodbury number 1.
I thought about that when you said that. I mean, he's big, he's 7'1".
Yeah.
Playing him in the middle and just run around.
Yeah.
He might be 7'3" by the time you get home.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That's right.
Wouldn't that be
That's
nice?
right.
Stretch him out a bit.
See the difference to me in Iowa basketball this last year. Those kids all played together.
Yeah.
There wasn't a selfish one on there. They really.
Yeah.
One night it could be White, one night it could be Marble. They just switched around.
And guys, knock on wood, but we haven't had anybody transfer out this summer.
Oh, I don't think we will now.
Yeah.
Well, there were, that was discussed. We discussed that earlier on, but I think that's certainly a good sign that there's camaraderie there and a desire to compete and to play with each other. And I think they see the future as well, better than anybody.
Yeah.
The potential of that class, those players and that coaching staff. They're going to have. It's going to be tough to get playing time.
Absolutely. There'll be injuries.
You're going to have
there will.
10, 11 guys that are
I
going
love
to
it.
command playing time. That's
love
hard to
it.
mesh.
We haven't even talked about Gabe Olaseni. He's another big man, 6'10".
Well, didn't McCaffrey say that he might be the most improved?
Yeah,
in
he did.
Some of the preliminary stuff.
He did.
So,
I just love to see a team that can put people in and shuffle them around.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was at the basketball banquet this year, and he got an award for something, and he was sitting at the table next to me, and he stood up and he unwound from that chair, and he kept going taller and taller. I said,
Yeah.
oh my,
And he's arms and legs, too.
oh my God,
Yeah.
he's really a surprise.
He's 6'10" or 6'11", right?
At least 6'10".
Oh boy.
Yeah. And how nice is it to tweak Bo Ryan's nose?
Oh, I love it.
Not only did we beat him twice,
Yeah.
and let's face it, guys, Bo Ryan and Wisconsin have dominated Iowa the last 10 years.
Yeah, they have.
Until this past season. And not only did we beat them at their place, first road game of the Big Ten.
See, the year before
First
we
game of the Big Ten,
beat-
wasn't it?
The year before we beat him once.
Home.
It was one
At home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, that's 3 out of 4 is pretty darn good.
That's right.
Sure is.
That's
you
right.
go against both.
That's right, bud.
And now we take his
right.
prized Iowa, his most recent prized Iowa recruit. This is the guy that's been, the fox raiding the hen house here in Iowa for years.
Yeah.
And he thought he got another one, another Mr. Iowa, and we got him back.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's after he took Ben Brest from us.
Now,
A
that-
very
that-
controversial, deal.
And because that happened, the way he handled this Utah thing when Utah wanted to leave was just despicable.
Good
and he
word.
got reaped over
He did.
by ESPN and Fox Sports and everybody.
In the long run, that's going to hurt him.
Yeah.
Oh, it will.
That's going to hurt him because this recruit's going to say, once I sign, he ain't going to let me out of this at all.
He's going to try to hurt me.
That's right.
I have a new slogan for Bo. Bo is slow.
Well, Barry, Barry Alvarez was certainly embarrassed by the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you've read enough of his interviews since this went down, you can read between the lines.
That's
And
right.
He's the one that stepped in.
And we can thank Barry
Well,
did a good job.
I
He
think
stepped
so.
in and stopped it.
He
Barry did the
stepped
right
in.
thing. You're right.
He did.
That shows what good people we've had at this University of Iowa.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Barry was retrained at Iowa.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, he came out of the high school ranks in Mason City when Hayden Fry was here.
Won the state championship, and Hayden hired him.
Yeah. Well.
One bad thing about poor old Barry, though, he played for Nebraska.
Well,
Yeah.
That's when
He
they were
wanted to go
really
to Penn
good.
State. Joe wouldn't have any part of him, so.
Well, speaking of Penn State, we got former coach Sandusky on trial.
Oh boy.
It's going to get ugly.
Boy, it started
It's
today.
already-
Yeah. It's
Boy, I'll tell you, the press hasn't let up on that.
They shouldn't.
no.
I agree because the women are the ones that really are behind it.
They should be. And
Well, he's going to spend a lot of time in jail.
I think he'll spend the rest of his life in jail.
That's right, and he should.
And he should. The things he's done are just sick and really hard to talk about, I think, for some of
And I
us.
don't know that much, but the thing I don't understand is
He's got like-
why is he fighting all this?
It's got to be something mental.
Why would
He's
he
probably in
turn
denial that
ahead,
he's
yeah.
even done it. I mean, as evil and sick as it is.
Somebody says, I watched him watching the sexual activity in the shower room, and I took a look and I walked away from it. But he made a mistake. He should have went right then.
McQuarrie?
Yeah.
McQuarrie?
Well, he
the
did
redhead.
expose it the next day, but it certainly didn't get taken
Fell
care
on
of
deaf
like it
ears.
should have from that
Fell on
point.
deaf ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just,
I'll say it again. It's a different culture out east.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim Montanaro, Italian through and through, said out east it's a different thing. And if you're Italian, which there are a lot of in the Pennsylvania area, and especially that part of Pennsylvania,
Is the guy on trial?
you don't talk about it.
Is he?
Sandusky? Nah, that's not Italian.
I don't think so.
But the point is, you don't talk about it. Keep it to yourself.
well, Paterno's Italian.
That's for sure.
What did you say?
Paterno was Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, boys, that's the guy I feel sorry for.
Oh, geez.
I'm not saying if he did it right or wrong, but
I'm not. I don't feel sorry for him.
I did.
No.
It killed him.
Yeah.
He was dead within months, just a matter of months.
3 months.
Just
3 months.
I mean, when you think about it, the whole thing is just so sad. He was hanging on to his job for so many years.
But
And
the one that's really to blame is that vice president that's in charge of the police department, and he tells them, you don't have enough here. You don't have enough to take the grand jury. Now, once he told that police department that, And this guy's in charge of the police department. They don't have a police chief in charge like we do. They
Right.
have a vice president that's in charge.
Right. Which is, again, hard for us to comprehend.
Well, that
right.
was back several years ago. When was that?
Well, it
02
would've
or
been
03
stopped.
when they tried to,
Has it been that long?
It's about,
when they think they looked into it the first time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
about year 2000, wasn't it?
Yeah, somewhere in the early 2000s.
It was way back, but if
Yeah.
that would have been stopped right then,
Yeah.
but it wasn't.
So it would have saved a lot of kids.
That's right.
A lot of agony.
That's right. Or this vice president would have let the police do their job instead of trying to get involved in it.
Or cover it.
See, I mean, do we have a vice president that's in charge of the university police here?
No,
I don't think so.
no. That's a Penn State thing. I think it's an East Coast thing. I really do.
Well, I'll tell you what, the rules and all those regulations and the way these universities look at things from now on are sure going to be different.
They are. And that's a good thing to
Yeah,
come out
that's
of
right.
this.
You know, a lot of things are going to change so that this kind of thing, hopefully, if it does happen again, will certainly be exposed earlier and be dealt with.
It makes me think. It makes me think. I'm coaching boys basketball in the winter and boys baseball. Now, I'm not alone with these kids at any time, but it just makes you think, you know, golly, you know, if it's not me, it's somebody else, and how do I know?
Yeah.
I don't think the Iowa City Boys Baseball League vets their coaches. I know the Coralville North Liberty Boys Basketball League doesn't, to the best of my knowledge. Maybe they did, and I don't know about
Yeah,
it. But
yeah.
But the one that bothers me more than anything, and I think I can say it in front of you three guys, but our Catholic Church has been much better.
it ain't much better.
No.
It ain't
Oh.
any better.
Very,
That's for
very
sure.
upset on this last deal that they paid the priest off $20,000 to, you know, it's bad.
Wait.
Sure is.
It's horrible. And really, the Catholic Church led the way in bad behavior
Yeah.
and covering it up.
That's what I mean.
And I don't
As
want
four
anyone to
Catholics
think
sitting here, we can say that.
we can,
Yeah.
and we can
Because
say
we're
it
all
from
embarrassed
experience.
by it.
I think we all probably know someone we grew up with who was molested.
Absolutely.
We
Well, I
all know someone whose life has been
Absolutely.
ruined by it.
That's right.
Lives, more than I can name a couple people I grew up. We didn't know it at the time.
No.
I didn't. Had no inkling
No
at the
idea.
time. And
Well, I'm certainly aware of it.
But were you when you were a kid?
No, when I was
No.
in high school, the priest, I was propositioned, but you know,
Yeah.
I wasn't.
But you're like me. I was scared to go home and tell my dad anything.
sure.
I didn't go home and tell mom and dad. Now, I did tell a nun about it.
Did you?
Sure.
That went to deaf ears.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
But I did. I went to the sister superior and told her.
I'm not sure if you'd have told your parents back in the day,
boy,
they wouldn't have believed you.
I know.
no.
No, they wouldn't have.
They said,
Especially
there's
my
no
dad.
way.
And they would have said, just be quiet.
Monsignor Meinberg.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
Meinberg,
I don't think you should hide it.
talk about it.
I think it should be talked about, myself. I mean, it's done so much damage to the church, and not the acts themselves alone, but the cover-up.
Right.
And the way people just looked away
Yeah.
from it.
Right.
Yeah.
They just looked away. And you can talk about the sexual abuse, but I mean, there's a lot of physical abuse, a lot of verbal and psychological abuse. I mean, horrible stuff that even somebody my age had to go through. And I look back on it now, and our parents were just as complicit. You'd go home and tell them. I went home and told them, Sister so-and-so broke Pat Rorick's arm in class today. And the nuns never got in trouble. The priest never got in trouble. Nobody got in trouble.
They were your babysitters or whatever you want to call them.
Well, they were our vision of Mary
If
and
you done something
Jesus.
wrong and you went home and told mom and dad, now let me tell you, from a large family,
Yeah.
you were in trouble at home.
Yeah.
You got more trouble at home, so you never went home and told them. I mean, for example,
Well, it was your fault. You did something
That's
bad.
right. I threw a shovel of snow on the nuns. They had these square
Oh, yeah.
halves.
Oh, yeah.
I threw it down
Square
off the
halves,
second
yeah.
balcony.
We used to put erasers on
And
top
I
of
was
the-
told to go home and tell mom and dad. And I was told by the one nun that they wouldn't say anything. So I thought, what in the hell should I go tell him for if they ain't gonna? Well, they did say something.
Yeah.
You know, no, you got in trouble. You got in trouble if you did anything wrong with the nuns or the priest.
We used to take those erasers and
Put 'em right up there.
we put the mark on the black part of their habits.
Yeah.
So they'd be walking around all day with the chalk.
Eraser, chalk.
Yeah, all over them.
See, we all did the same stuff.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Oh yeah.
What does this have to do with sports?
Well, just the
Well,
correlation
that was kind
between.
of a
I'm
poor
glad,
man's sport in those days.
I'm glad that Bud brought it up because we're talking about the cover-up of the
Sanders.
sexual scandal at Penn State.
that's true.
And the Catholic Church has been just as, if not much more guilty on a
we're
certainly
all
a
full
widespread
involved.
They're
basis.
pretty slow, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just America. It's been going on all over the world, and it really comes down to the Vatican not doing a damn thing about it, even when they knew.
Now you go back to the Italians.
Poor leadership.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Italians.
There you go.
Italians. Omerta.
And
Be quiet or die.
and I think we got a great bunch of priests around here now.
I agree.
I agree.
But their
And
job
they're
is so much
suffering.
harder now.
There you go. They're suffering
Because of
all
what's
this.
happened in the
That's
past.
Right.
Yes.
That's right.
There's
The stigma.
there's so little respect. Where I grew up, Catholics were really on the second to last rung of the ladder in society. But the priests had respect throughout the community. They commanded respect, and they got it. And it's not that way today.
No.
I don't. I mean, I'm not saying they're disrespected, but it's not the same anymore, and I don't think it ever will be, and that makes me sad.
But you know what? In a sense, in reality,
Joe?
it should be not an automatic respect anyway.
Yeah.
Everybody should have to earn their own
That's right.
respect. You don't inherit respect, you earn it.
That's right.
So it shouldn't be any different whether you're talking about priests or ministers or nuns or whatever.
But
you
you know-
have to earn your own respect as a person.
And it's the nuns, today's nuns, who are doing more for their faith,
For good, that's right.
for the
I agree
betterment
with you.
of the community wherever they
agree.
live,
We
whether
got
it's
one that,
in Iowa
yeah.
or,
Sister Agnes is wonderful.
oh my
That's
God,
right.
she's beyond wonderful. And the sacrifices, the personal sacrifices she makes for all of us here.
That's right.
And for our children and for our grandchildren and the community. And there are nuns out there who now the Vatican is telling,
Yeah, I know.
you stop doing these community things because it's benefiting gay people or AIDS victims or anything like that. I tell you what, guys, if we were not allowed to interact with gay people because the church said so, we'd be missing a lot more friends than I think we
Right.
realize.
Listen, I want
We
to bring
all
one
have
thing up
friends,
before we
yeah.
get
Go,
off here.
go.
This afternoon out at Regina, you got Davis Community coming in to play Regina in Solon. And they have an all-star baseball all-star pitcher that is going to
that kid.
Iowa.
That's
So if you
right.
got any time, it'd be worth going out. Now, this pitcher is the one that beat Regina out of the tournament last year. He's really a fantastic.
Isn't he the guy that didn't walk anybody
He
all
didn't
last
walk.
summer?
He didn't walk a soul last year.
He did?
No.
Yeah.
Not a soul. And he's coming in. They play Regina at 3 o'clock, then they play Solon at 5 o'clock, and then Regina plays Solon at 7 o'clock.
That's pretty good.
There's going to be some good baseball
Good
out
baseball
there.
there, yeah.
We also want to mention that Marv Ryland, a longtime athletic director at West High, is retiring, and there's going to be a party from 5 to 8 p.m. tonight. So about the time the show's over, the party's over, but
It'll be Wednesday the 13th.
out at Gus's in Coralville.
Okay.
22 years as athletic director at West High.
Done a great
They've
job.
really done a good
And
job.
boy, did he go out on a high note, huh?
She's like, yes.
Wow. Congratulations, Marv. And to all you folks out there, thanks for tuning in. We're going to probably have a special guest when we tune in next time. This show will run for a couple weeks, but we're on every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Which camera? This camera. Every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Every Sunday night at 6 p.m. we broadcast the show. And then you can also pick it up on my Facebook page, or you can always find it at PATV.TV. That's the public access television website. You can catch it there. And guys, I'm glad we got together. It's
Yeah.
been too long.
Hey, well,
Let's do it again in a couple of weeks.
Sounds
Eh?
good to me.
Yeah. All right. On behalf of Bob Boyd and Bud Sueppel and Earl Murphy, I'm Dirk Keller, thanking you for watching Sports Opinion. And remember this: either you're a Hawk or you're not. Thank you, Joe Murphy, too.
Yeah.
Bye now.